Alright, assessment orders of the Association of American Railroad Cars for the Directive number 145, February 1st, 2015, effective March 1st, 2015. Previous issues for the directive are canceled. This issue contains all changes. 2. Transportation officers, all railroads. No, the directive is issued under the provision of Car Rule, High Rule 19A 1G, but it does not prohibit the restrict the railroad from asserting any rights under the Standard Transportation Board Regulation Title 49, 39.14c. Each violation, paragraph 1, order the second of the directive is subject to the graduate scale of the assessment based on the violation occurring each of the calendar. Application: cars assigned with the shipment agent for the agent committee with the National Boxcar Pools carrying railroad reporting marks for the railroad control cars as indicated least assessment of UMLR file following mechanical designations. And then your order after unloading the cars with the subject of the directive may be handling per owner's instruct the cars with the transportation code E with the subject of the special card code car order number 90 or SCO 90. Return to empty ship of the agent with the loading the point with the reverse loading movement of the car restricted with the UMLR transportation code G may be handled with the reverse load movement to the original loading road. The holding mirror road exercise of the option 2, the car doors must be closed. The 2, 3, the claim to the floor of the car on higher cars. The government, the directive may be made in accordance with the car hire rule 22 and the cars with the rules 1 and 2 with the suspend the insofar that they may conflict with the other provisions. 4, no assessment will be made under this order unless the car is registered by the UMLR proper pool assignment in transportation code. Alright, exemptions 1. Owners may allow their equipment to be loaded without regard of the destination by registration with the car of the pool type J with the generator, the transportation code J with the UMLR file, except for the FC car with such assignment for prohibited. Exemption 2. Owners may accept with the car of the provision with the paragraph 1 order to allow the other specified limits for such exemption must be confirmed with the writing of the Assistant Vice President Business Services Association of American Railroad. Note: as receiving the carriage may require the living carriage to furnish the necessary data for the forwarding of the car in compliance with the directive of the for the intent with the requirement of the data should be the issue with the designated to serve the car service officer with the road requesting information. The designated car service officer with the road with the notice address of the such car service officers cannot intact. The information must be reported with the Finance Rail per car service rule 19. And note number 2: the haulage rights of the haulage right carrier attendants performing the original destination switching original line haul carrying air are subject to the car hire rule 19A 1G. See clarification number 45 AAR circular TD4 for by the direction of Jeffrey J. Usher, Assistant Vice President, Business Services Secretary. Alright, car hire service number directive 150 canceled, superseded the car service directive number 150 of October 1st, 2005. 2. Transportation officers all railroad notice the directive is issued with the provision of the car hire rule number 8, 19A 1G does not prohibit the restricting the railroad for asserting the railroad rights of the Surface Transportation Board with the regulation Title 49 and 1039.14c. Each violation of paragraph 1 and 3 of the order section of the directive is subject to the graduated scale assessment based on the violation of each for the calendar month. Effective 12:01 a.m. August 1st, 2014, continuing 2011, August 1st, 2011, continuing other further application of the 2 unside carrier of the railroad reporting mark the following mechanical designations, and then it has their abbreviations. If you want to look up their abbreviations, I just recommend reading the UMLR Universal Management Equipment Language Equipment Record or Registry. Alright, order after all FB, FBC, FBS, FCC, FCA, FL, FM, 4-axle cars, FMS, GB, GBR, GBS, GBS, RGS, GSS, GWS, LC, LG, LU, RB, RBL, RPC, RPL, XL, XLI, XM, XB, XBI in cars with a U transportation code must be held per owner construction layout loaded into V with the home road. C handled only under the provision of the standard code special car order number 90. The holding road exercise of the option after unloading the all FA, FM, 6L, axle greater GT, GTR, GTS, GWSR, HK, HKR, HKS, HMA, HMS, HMSR, HT, HEA, HER, HTS, HCSR, LF, LP, LM, LS, RC, RP, T cars with a U transportation code must be handled per owner instruction loaded. 2V with a home road returned at the home in any conjunction return the empty of delivering the road at the junction with the previously received if the junction is not a junction within the home road, and the holding road is exercised with the option. 4. After loading the FAFMA 6A axles of greater GTR, GTS, GWSR, HK, HKR, HKS, HMA, HMS, MHMSR, HD, HEA, HER, HES, HESR, LF, LP, LM, LS, RC, RP, TT, T cars under the blank transportation code must be handled by per owner instruction loaded without regard to the route and destination, and C handled under the provision car serve the rule. Number 2, holding road does not to exercise the option. 5, the cars must be closed. 6, the reclaim the car hire with the covered by the directive may be made in accordance with the car hire rule. 22, cars serve the rules 1 and 2 for the suspended insofar as the conflict with above the provision. 7, no assessment will be made under this order unless the car is properly registered on the Yield Transportation Code. Exemptions. Owners made exempt of the code of the U Transportation Code with the provision in paragraph 1 and 3, but the orders allow the U of the other specified line with such exemption must be confirmed in writing to the Association of American Railroad in advance. Such notification must be made provided by the CSC at Rail Incorporated with the COM, each for the cover of the blank exemption, but will carry the blank of the Transportation Code of the U in the UMLR file. No, as receiving carrier may require the delivering carrier to the furnisher the necessary data forwarding code with the compliant with the directive notice for the intent with the requirement of the data should be issued with the designated car for the officer of the road requesting the information designated car for the officer of the road with the notice for the address. To note number 2, haulage right of the carrier attendants perform the original destination switching in on or are the origin line haul carrier and subject car hire rule 19G. See clarification number 5, AAR business service direction division circular TD 14 by direction Jeffrey J. Usher, Assistant Vice President Business Service Secretary. Our car for the directive number 175 to transportation officers all railroad. The directive is issued under the provision car rules number 19A1G, but it does not prohibit the British Railroad from inserting in the rights but under the Surface Transportation Regulation Board, Surface Transportation Board Regulation Title 49 CFR 1039.14C, with each of the violation paragraph 1 and 2, but the order of the section directives and subject of the graduated scale assessment based on the violation occurring with each of the calendar month effective 1 after 12 a.m. October 1st, 2005, cumulative until the furthest notice. Application of all the railroad cards listed in the UMLR file with the transportation code, the transportation condition code TO. The car owner has listed the equipment the UMLR expedited movement of the home lease of the termination repair program of the assignment. Order after the unloading of the car, the transportation owed must handle with the per owner's instructions delivered empty with the home road and in conjunction return the empty delivered road in conjunction with the receipt of the junction and no junction with the home road loaded the home road the holding road to exercise the option after unloading the cars with the transportation code TO with the handle of the per owner's instruction delivered empty with the home road at the junction, delivered empty under the provision and special car order number 90 or loaded to the home road to the holding road to exercise the option. Note, effective October 1st, 2005, the owners must place the transportation code O on the freight cars with the mechanical destinations defined, and the application must be used the UMLR pool type code O, lease termination, shipping assignment, pool type of the such of the assignment for EMT return for such freight cars leasing termination show up with the program's reassignment with the shipper the agent with the commodity pools on the home road by the direction Jeffrey J. Usher, Assistant Vice President Business Services Secretary. Our current the directive number 435. The council supersedes the council of the directive number 435 April 1st, 1995. To the transportation of all the officers of all railroads, note that the directive is issued under the provision of Car Hire Rule number 19A1G, with each of the located violation section A1 with the section B1 of the directive subject with the graduated scale assessment based on the violation occurring each for the calendar month effective the first 1 minute after January 12 a.m. August 1st, 2011, continuing until their further notice. Application for the class for LO for the covered hopper car for the carrying the reporting mark of the railroad control car control including indicated by the leaser field within the UMLR file. Order. The section A of the cars assigned with the agent shipper the combined the rules after unloading the car ship the sub with the directive may be handled their own and instructs the return to the empty shipper the agent loading point and reverse loading movement at C of the cars left in the UMLR of the transportation code G may be handled the reverse loading movement of the original loading road. The holding road exercise the option reclaiming the cars of the higher for the cover in Section 8 with the directive may be the corner for the car higher rule 22 for the cars over the rule 1 and 2 for the suspended within so far that they may conflict with the above provision. Section B on the sign for the car for the unloading of the car. The subject of the directive must be handled per owner with the instruction for the return of the home road in conjunction with the return empty of the delivering road with the junction previous to the load of the retreat. Even if the junction is not a junction with the home road, the holding road to be exercised with the option. Section C, assigned and unsigned car. No assessment will be made unless the assigned car is registered with the EMLR with the proper approval with assignment of the transportation code. B, the unsigned car is registered with the EMLR transportation code. W, the destination carrier, the request for the check with the closely to see that the empty release of the covered hopper cover for the hopper slides are properly closed, but also with the hatch cover the covers are secure, but they ensure the against the contamination with which result with the dirt and moisture for the interior of the car through the leasing of the option. They avoid the claims of the due to the contamination for the covered hopper cover the transform from one with the combined surface to another and necessary to distress important through the cleaning of the car's exemption. Owners may exempt the car through the provision of Section A1 and B1 along with the other specified lines, but such exemptions must be confirmed with the writing of the Association of American Railroads in advance. Such notifications must be provided with the CSE at railincorporated.com. Each car covered with the blank exemption will carry a blank transportation code in the EMLR file. No, as receiving the carrier may require the delivering the carrier the furniture the necessary data with the foreign car with the complying with the directive with noticing the intent of the requirement of the data shall be issued for the designated transportation officer of the road requesting the information of the designated transportation officer of the road which to know for this address. Number 2, haulage route carrier attendants performing our original destination switching of the original line haul carrier are subject to the car hire rule 19G with the C clarification number 4 AAR circular TD 14 done by direction Jeffrey J. Ushler, Assistant Vice President Business Services. Revised special card service special card over the orders SCO 30 effective January 23rd, 2001, effective January 26th, 2001. The revised special card 30 the issue of the May 18th, 1999 amendment thereto has been suspended and canceled. 2. Transportation officers all railroads. Cars up for the rule number 9 reads as follows. Cars rules ownerships must not be loaded therefore or delivered to the steamship of the ferry or the barge line with the transportation with the water except for the transportation interstate commerce by the common carriers by water between the continental United States but not including Alaska with permission of the owner filed with the business service division. The Association of American Railroad hereby suspends the rule for the so far the relates to delivering cars to the water carriers operating with the Great Lakes and Puget Sound areas the Strait de Juan de Fosse or the Straits of Georgia. Permission for the railroad authorizing the delivery of the freight cars of the one or more of the following water carriers have been used for the file with the Association of American Railroads. The Canadian Aquatrain operating between the Prince Rupert and British Columbia, the Whitbird, Alaska. Canatopian Maritime Corporation operating with the Puget Sound area between the Catachine and Seneca, Alaska Railroad Marine Services operating with between Seattle, Washington and Whittier, Alaska. Boyer, Alaska barge lines operating with the Puget Sound, Catachinga, Matalaka, Oregano, Petersburg, and Alaska. International Shipping Hold Cooperation operating between Mobile, Alabama, Coatzacoalcos, Mexico, and the Gulf of Mexico. Railroad consisting with the delivery of the cars are shown with the excellent the applicable paragraph denotes the cars must originate on or be loaded with the V of the owner. Or then it shows you different the railroads applicable to the X which shows the road constant delivery of the cars, and these are on the barge lines. Directed by Note 1 Alaska, and these are directed by Jeffrey J. Yosher, the Assistant Vice President, Business Service Secretary. Our Revision Education Special Car Order SCO 90, effective February 1st, 2015, effective May 1st, 2015. For previously issued, the order all orders are canceled. The issue contains all changes. To all the railroads, cars for the rule number 2 is served as suspended with respect to all the mechanical designation FP, FPC, FBS, FCA, FCA, FTC, FL, FM, 4-axle, FMS, GB, GBR, GBS, GBSR, GS, GSS, GWS, LC, LG, LU, RB, RBL, RP, RPL, XL, XLI, XM, XP, XBI. If the cars are covered with loading provision with the CDS at 150 or the cars of the director of the 150, the U transportation code for the UMLR except the cars of the directive 150. The blank transportation code UMLR file. The special car order does not supersede the loading with the provision of the cars of the directive of the 150 with the following instruction for the handling with above the following cars are not needed for loading. 1. When the controlling railroad participates in the last loaded movement, the direction connection for the controlling of the railroad shell of the leasing railroad is shown with the Umler leaser element. Forward car with the leasing of the railroad at the junction, except for the handle with the switch surface must be returned to deliver the roads unless at the junction with the home road. 2. The forward car with the controlling railroad with the original receiver under the load with the junction where they received, except when the handle with the road hauls over the cars of the direct connection of the ownership may not be delivered and empty with the road which does not have the direct connection with the car owner. If the junction with the received under the load that is to all the junction with the car owner, car must be delivered to the owner at the junction. The B. The indirect connections of the controlling railroad shall forward the car to the road. The leasing of the railroad will originally received under the load of the junction where received. Alright, 2. When the controlling railroad did not participate in the last load move with the carriage of the direct connection with the controlling railroad shall 1. If the controlling railroad is shown with a Umler leaser with the element with the forward of the car of the controlling railroad at any of this conjunction with the exempt of the hand with the switching service must be returned to the delivery road in conjunction with the railroad is not shown with the Umler leaser element the forward car to that home railroad at any junction except with the cars and switching services must be returned to the delivering road. B. Forward car with the controlling railroad, which originally received the load conjunction with the junction with the received and except with the hand with the road haul, with the car direct junction connection with the ownership that may not be delivered the empty of the road, which does not have the direct connection with the controlling railroad with the junction where the received and under the load, but is also conjunction with the connection with the controlling road. Railroad car must be led with the controlling railroad at the junction. B. Carriers that are in indirect connection with the controlling railroad. The carrier provided outlet for the ownership listed in the special car order number 90 shall be used with the designated outlet except for the cars received and loaded, released and switched surfaces of the cars where they have not been provided outlets into the special car order 90 with the terminal return with the special car with the delivering road hauls carrier. The car handling with the cars and switching surfaces has an outlet under the special car order 90 that the terminal should be used. For carrier with not provided with outlet, special car order number 90 shall forward the car through the roading and leasing the railroad from the original received under the load with the junction received. No applicable boxcars exceeding place C with the reversing rider with the car with the municipal dimension for the such car than prohibiting the special car order number 90. Note 2. The controlling railroad for the cars carrying the transportation code T and E or T or E to determine its valve. For the cars of the Associated American Railroad pool, the controlling road, the pooling operating code identified the first 3 digits of the Associated American Railroad or pool number, or for the without the AR pool with the controlling road with the leasing road are shown with the Umler leaser element, or the for the others with the Associated American Railroad pool without leasing road. As shown with the Umler leaser element, then the controlling road is determined with the railroad reporting marker on the car. Note 3. Effective June 30th, 2009, the Special Car Order number 90, Master Table of Equipment marked subject to the Special Car Order 90 for the railroad for the delivering and receiving the railroad accessible to the web www.rail incorporated with the V for the rail incorporated signal sign on with the account access. Participating railroad shall have the permission to access the Special Car Order number 90, Master Table of the Special Car Order number 90 railroads are granted ready to only access the Special Car Railroad Order number 90, Master Table the email the XML message update for the provided advance of the effective date of the addition and change of the expiration equipment market delivering that and to receive the railroads under the authority of the Assistant Vice President Business Service Division Association of American Railroad. In order to facilitate the application card for the moving under paragraph 2 in which the control railroad was not involved with the last loaded movement within the transportation code with E or T assigned with the reported Umler file, they included the movement of the loaded car across the haulage line haulage rights carrier attendant may require the potential special empty car with the handling under the order. The Equipment Assessment Committee has been stated with the Umler file will give them regard with the proper handling of the equipment interchange service by the direction of Jeffrey J. Usher, Assistant Vice President, Business Service Secretary. Revised Special Car Order number 200. 2 transportation officers of all railroads notice that the car service rules 2 paragraph A1, A2, A3 of the suspended with all the cars Umler file with the transportation code D. Transportation code D identifies the railroad marked equipment that has never been located with the owner's property with the assigned and the national pool of railroad marked equipment that has not been loaded in the railroad which is assigned but is not assigned to the national pool of railroad marked equipment that has not been loaded on a leasing railroad that is not assigned with the national pool privately marked equipment prior to the first load. The following of the instruction handling above the empty for the foreign equipment the carrying railroad reporting marks not needed for the loading forward for the road with originally received under the load with the conjunction when received with the junction over the received unloaded with the junction with the car owner with the car delivered the owner of the junction and be returned home with the return to the home road at the junction. Holding to the road to exercise the option. The train 2 system will evaluate the car with the movement to determine the transportation code. D shall be removed from the railroad marked with the codes. With the D code will be removed with the train 2 when the car has reached the car owner for the private equipment. The D code will be removed with the train 2 when the car status is first and reported as loaded. No, railroad marking cars the carrying transportation code are located with the haulage right for the carrier of the tenants are to be hauled within the pickups A and B and D. A and B and D coded cars offer haulage rate right carrier tenants must be accepted in the interchange when moving in reverse route to the home road per paragraphs A and B. By direction of the Jeffrey J. Usher, Assistant Vice President, Business Service Secretary. Let me read out. Let me see how many pages this is. We're gonna cut the tape, and we're gonna read the TDs or the special technical the circulars later.